G'day, it's pwbike. Come for a ride with me.
Creek. Maribyrnong Freeway. Moonee Creek Path. Riding between the Moonee Creek and the Maribyrnong Freeway. Big green wall on our right is where the Tulla Freeway is. Reduce P. Yeah, we just tucked under the Maribyrnong Freeway. Around another bend and back under the Maribyrnong Freeway. A bit more natural looking over the other side here. Old cliffs. See some sandstone there, hopefully. But still with the concreted creek. We are down the Union Street. Little bridge across here. Goes up to Union Street. We're going to continue down. See the CBD, Melbourne CBD coming into view. The big yellow thing is called Melbourne Gate. more popularly known as the cheese stick, because Denton Corker Marshall designed that, and Jeffrey Smart painted a picture of the area including that sculpture, I believe. Hope I'm right. This area is Travancore to our left, maybe to our right. Relatively new suburb, I believe. Previously would have been called Flemington on our right. So you can see the big red sticks, part of that Melbourne Gate sculpture, which is like the gateway to the city. If you come from the airport down the Tullamarine Freeway, this is where the Tullamarine Freeway finishes or starts. It runs out onto Flemington Road or Racecourse Road if you're going west. Keep the camera running here, there's a bit more change in scenery, change in direction. Mount Alexander Road on our right, coming down from Essendon, Moonee Ponds, joining onto Flemington Road here to go into the city or to North Melbourne. And that's CityLink above us now, which starts down in Port Melbourne-ish sort of area. So we've just done basically a circle, back up to street level, crossing Moonee Ponds Creek. See here the creek is a bit more in its natural state apart from the CityLink tollway above, and this is Flemington Bridge Station on the Upfield line. Got here a bit of police flashing light action. It's like they're out having a chat to someone. I think that's Racecourse Road that we're going under, so that is going to Kensington, Flemington, and if you continue around to the right to Ascot Vale. Oops. Where we are is still the Moonee Ponds Creek path, and right now we're tucked in under that CityLink tollway, Macaulay railway station on our left. Again, that's on the Upfield line. We're about to go under Macaulay Road. Goes up into like South Kensington, that sort of thing. Old pipe bridge there. Not sure if it's still in use. It's quite a industrial area around here. Less so now, more of those old buildings being knocked down for apartments. But there's still a bit of industry around. See there on the right, a big grain mill. I believe they make flour and stock feed. There's a grain siding where trains can shunt in to unload. You can see the creek's widened out considerably here. It's probably tidal in this area. It goes out, joins the river in Victoria Dock in Docklands. I think this is Arden Street. So pretty much in North Melbourne at the moment. Another one of those old pipe bridges. We're going under there. Big SEC electricity substation, distribution station. And this is where we sort of run alongside the railway marshalling and maintenance yards. So some train storage, some light maintenance, train wash, those sorts of things happen here. Must be for the electric metro fleet, but as we go further down you'll see there's a bit of V-line yard and sidings as well. New substation, which I believe is power for the Melbourne Metro tunnel. So the new line's through there. Watch out, lady. Wouldn't want to be much taller than me. Some of these bridges are quite low. Going under some of the westbound rail lines. So once you come out of Spencer Street in North Melbourne, those lines go west. Whoops. And where we're coming to now is some new on and off ramps for the Westgate Tunnel. So taking traffic from the western edge of the CBD, from Footscray Road, from Docklands Highway, from here at Dynon Road, up onto an aerial road connecting with the Westgate Tunnel. The main function being to keep a lot of heavy truck traffic off the inner suburban streets in the west. And this is Dynon Yards to our right, where the diesel locomotive fleet get refueled, serviced, maintained. So quite a few crossings out into there, engine sheds, turntables, all that sort of thing. So area on our left, referred to as E-Gate, basically massive public transport site. So railways, tramways, bit of everything. Melbourne Southern Star, the Wheel of Misfortune, which has had pretty checkered history and sat now, I don't know how many years, I'd say at least 3 years, unused. It was up for sale, couldn't find a buyer, and now most recent news is they're talking about it opening again. So sometime this year, they say. I'll believe it when I see it. Just turn you around for a look there. Wow, the Costco Docklands site, they're stripping the cladding off the building. How strange. Melbourne CBD ahead there. To our left, and where we're about to head, is the new Dixon Veloway, which is an aerial bike path all the way over to the Maribyrnong River and joins onto Shepherd Bridge to cross the river into Footscray. So probably opened just before Christmas, I think, and quite spectacular looking and pretty functional. Ridden across it once before, so this will be my second trip. I'm getting the camera out because not far off the start there's quite a spectacular scene where you're about to go in under the ramp for the Westgate Tunnel Road. Some big orange decorative elements, and as you'll see, very strong green colour scheme for the Veloway. So I get the camera out because it's not for pedestrians, and a little bit worried that getting off the bike might trigger some sort of accident, so try and minimise my stopping time. I'll just pull up here before we get too far up. There is a little pedestrian section to the right. Yes, look at this. Quite amazing. Stop back here. Hopefully we're not in anyone's way. Lots of traffic. Probably hadn't anticipated that. Right, let's continue. Quite striking with the green and orange against the neutral grey of the concrete. One of the aspects that people have been critical of this path is these expansion joints. So the very first section have a rubbery plastic filler strip across the joint, and there's very little noise or bump as you go over them. As we go further on, there's no more of those strips, and they're quite a strong jolt as you ride over them. All got fairly fat tyres. I think they're 700C by 42 or something similar. Sort of a medium pressure, probably about 50 psi, and they're still quite noticeable. So I'd imagine on a more speedy bike with a bit less tyre volume, that'd be quite severe. So here we are. We're up above Footscray Road, which has got heavy truck traffic in and out of the ports, or the port. And up above us is the new Westgate Tunnel link. Now we're running over those expansion joints, and here's one of the big ones. So quite a jolt into and out of it. Not very good. One of the other concerns was the truck exhaust, because we're directly above that Footscray Road with lots of big trucks, and above us are more trucks. So I imagine diesel exhaust is potentially an issue. But it is pretty nice up here. Apart from the noise, you're away from all that traffic. Don't have pedestrians to contend with. pull out into the middle for a look. Cameras along the length of it. Apparently there's an emergency access point somewhere in the middle where a person can be taken down to ground level if they need to be. Can't really see those expansion joints either. Everything's painted a uniform green, shadow and bright. They just don't stand out. So you can't even really prepare for them unless you're looking straight down, which is not a sensible way to ride. So port to the left and the former Melbourne market, wholesale market to our right, which now seems to be just storage and transport, bit of warehousing, logistics, I guess you call that stuff. Ooh, that might have been the centre that we just crossed over. So quite high up here, probably 10 metres, 30 feet, something like that. See all the containers off to our left, big port area. There's our Maribyrnong River. You can see there, oh, you probably can't, but oh. If I can pull over here. Out for a look. So there's Maribyrnong River, the big funnely web net structure is one of the entrances to the tunnel, the portal. You can see trucks coming off the tunnel back into that port area, and that aerial road that we're riding under, it's got the nice coloured scale pattern along the sides, and the big silver structure there is a vent stack for the tunnel, so they're pulled out. This is Shepherd Bridge upstream to where the, I can't think of the name of the street, tunnel, railway tunnel, so a freight line comes out of the freight yards, across that bridge into a tunnel there. It runs under the street, so around and under and through the Footscray station, and we'll continue over here, Shepherd Bridge. So you can follow this river down to where it joins the Yarra, and then continues down to Williamstown and enters the bay. So we're going to have a little bit of a look. This continues around through an older port area and industrial area. I think we stay on this side. Yeah, there's oil terminals, refineries, all that sort of stuff down here. So getting the trucks off those inner suburban streets was good because the cargo was dangerous, the trucks were heavy, a lot of pollution, a lot of noise. Not very good for the people who lived around those areas. So I haven't been down here since they finished the work, but there's an elevated crossing over this road. I'm just not sure where it starts from, if we should have been riding down the river or whether there's access to it from here. I can see it up there. We'll keep going. Oof. Now you can really see that vent stack for the tunnel. Quite good looking, I think. Right, so there's someone on that path and they're in there. Maybe we should have gone in there. Let's go and have a look. I think I must have missed the connecting link. Quite possible that when I came off Shepherd Bridge, I should have gone left down along the river. Where do we get on here? Alright, so we missed the turn off. Is it here? Yes. Still see the fence. Probably here. This would make sense. Still not convinced. Yes. I've done photos here. And this is all fenced off as a construction site. Yeah, so it looks like it comes down on the river. This, whoa, that's soft. There we go. Still quite a lot of work going on here. Incomplete landscaping. Still doing roadworks, sealing sections off. That's just a maintenance access road to the tunnel, perhaps an evacuation point. So there we were, well, we'd be either over there on that Hyde Street, and now we're up here and across it. Stop here for a picture. Wish I'd brought a wide lens though. Oh. Looks good. Right, onward. interesting. Bike lanes by paths, very short on signage. Oh, this is Hyde Street. I think what we'll do is go up here and ride back down to the river, and we'll ride up the river to Flemington-ish. So here we are, just rejoining the path back over Shepherd Bridge. Oh, that's not what I said we'd do. Said we'd ride up the river. Right, let's do that. There's Shepherd Bridge up there, and we're down here on the former goods line that used to run along here for the port. So there were docks and stuff all along here. Not heavy docks, but probably light goods, fishing boats, that sort of thing. And there's that rail bridge again. Bunbury Street is what I was trying to think of before. So it runs up there, and you can see the terrain goes up a fair hill. So instead of the railway line going up that hill, it enters a tunnel and runs pretty much the length of Bunbury Street to where the railway station is, and then underground it curves around and joins onto the regular goods lines through the Footscray station. It's a good spot to get a view of the city with the train lines and the bridge leading in. Looks good at night. I'd ride up there, but it's quite steep. Another day. Across is that big logistics area. You can see the old train lines here. And there's a new outdoor venue, stadium, entertainment thing just nearing completion there. It's a bit of an arts precinct along this section of the river here in Footscray. Up the top, there's been some sort of art co-ops and bits and pieces over the years. Quite nice to live here along the river. Nice path, water. City views. Maribyrnong River cruises. At least one of the boats they use for that is a former Lakes Entrance cruising boat. Might be it right there, it is. I'll go down and see if we can get a view of it. It's called Blackbird. Oh, very hard to see. Look, there's a bike that's been pulled out. Oh, it's too hard. But anyway, little river cruise boat there called the Blackbird. Used to be at Lakes Entrance. It was the Bluebird, the Blackbird and the Lena Bird back in the, I don't know, late 60s, or definitely in the 60s, but late 60s, 70s, they were still there. But I think they're finished, might be one left, and it's doing cruises not from Lakes Entrance but further up. Look how beautiful this is. Big Asian, probably Chinese temple pagoda thing there, right across the river from a concrete batching plant and other industrial things. What a great place. Could quite easily live over here, I think. Still an inner suburb. Doesn't really have the tram access to the city and beyond that Brunswick has, but it has a rail line and a tram that is like a shuttle between Moonee Junction and outside the train station. Doesn't have a tram directly to the city. This was all industrial here as well. Homie Ped shoes, Tontine, maybe the bedding company, that sort of stuff. Those nice silos, fantastic. You can see that temple thing. We got this, whoops, ran off the road, big statue. Our Lady of the Sky or something to that effect. She was all faded there for a while and they've given her a paint job. Pull up here and we'll have a little look. There you go. It is impressive. Imagine it's just been built with donations and volunteer labour and stuff. It was many years in the making. There were just concrete piles driven in there for years. It was like concrete henge. And they've added more buildings over time too. So there's a railway line and bridges ahead. And more lines out to the west, out of North Melbourne, curving around here to the west, go out to Footscray and through Footscray, a station there. It's quite a big shoulder station, an interchange, country trains, metro trains. There's looks like a HCMT, one of the high capacity metro trains crossing. Remnants of industry across the river. Up ahead, that's the stock bridge for the old Newmarket sale yard. So I think stock must have come by train, been unloaded into stockyards here on our left in I think it's called Newell's Paddock, and then walked across the bridge to the sale yards. And I believe some didn't walk back because there was quite an extensive abattoir, glue factory, leather, all sorts of stuff. It's part of the lower section of that sale yard complex. So the sale yards were right up the top and down the bottom with some stinky industries. Now it's part of the path. So yeah, over here with some horse stables and stuff, because you can't see it, but to our left is the Flemington racecourse. and down the bottom toward the river is stables and training facilities and so on associated with the racecourse. That's where the Melbourne Cup's held each year. Of course, plenty of other race meetings. Animals as entertainment. Not a good thing, but it doesn't seem to be any end to it. So you can see they've kept or rebuilt the old, oh thank you, I must have right away, didn't know that, the old fence railings of the stockyards, bluestone, would have been probably the paving material, and yeah, stacks of fairly high density, it's only low, it's not high, but quite dense housing been built along here. Seems quite pleasant when you're away from those main roads, but off to our left is a really big busy road, and up the top is another, big busy road. But down in here, not too bad at all. Lots and lots of big mature trees. Some more of that bluestone. Oh, thirsty. Hard work. It's Macaulay Road, where it meets Kensington Road. I'm going to go down, back down to where we crossed here before on that Moonee Ponds Creek path. There's a bit of a ramp back to the road. Kensington station there, so I guess it's Kensington. And there's a goods engine, there you go, been shunting into that grain siding that we talked about earlier. We should have gone up there and had a look, but anyway, just about had enough. So this is all new, this used to be just industrial, commercial. And now it's quite bustling. Bike lane just miraculously evaporates because everything else is more important. Sure, I should go. This is North Melbourne. Had a long section of hills. Every street we had to go up across the hill. I think we should go this way. It's Flemington Road ahead of us. The Children's Hospital at this end. You could follow the tram line up through Royal Park, but I don't want to go that way. Go this way. So 58 coming out of Royal Park onto Flemington Road. We'll go down here. So this is Flemington Road, around the other side of the hospital that we saw from the native grass circle in Royal Park the other day. This one's the Children's Hospital, a big new wing at the end. So we're at the bottom edge of Royal Park. See there, if we continue on we go up to Royal Parade. I think we might go left here. This is Gatehouse Street, I think. It goes up along the side of Royal Park into Royal Parade. Yeah, Gatehouse Street, and this is Parkville. Small sort of neighbourhoods, nice quiet streets, older houses. More hills. We're just coming up the top of Gatehouse Street, where it meets Royal Parade, and this is Walmsley House, which I guess may have been the gatehouse. Also says the lodge, so it's a bit confusing. See it there. Looks a little bit like Cook's Cottage in the Fitzroy Gardens or whatever they're called. So this is Royal Parade. Still in Parkville. Melbourne Uni on our right. This is the top bit where the residential colleges and things like that mostly are. Tennis courts. Parkville Tennis Club. that big east-west road. Elliott Avenue, where it comes out here. Cemetery Road West. Around the back, a little bit quieter. So this is the avenue. Still on the avenue, just coming up to where that inner circle railway line runs through. See there the stanchions, the tunnel under Royal Parade, and over the other side, same sort of thing, where it goes through under us. On the Upfield path, the old pedestrian bridge featured in Death in Brunswick. Brunswick Baths on our right. Silly narrow section here. What are we doing? Albert Street, old railway hotel, after 100 million cars. Brunswick railway station.